In the last video, we looked at a specific framework Facebook developed that a business can use to form its brand. It's called the EPIC framework and gives you 4 foundational stones on which to build your brand: existence, purpose, identity, and connection. Now we'll look at these 4 building blocks in a bit more detail, starting with existence in this video. Existence focuses on why your business exists. There's brand value to be found in the reason why a business was created. Not only when and where it was created, but what problem the business was trying to solve and who the people are who created it. Consumers today want to connect to the story behind a business, and you can accomplish that by telling your origin story. An origin story is simply an account of how a business got started, and a great origin story must include a few key elements: the people involved and a problem to solve. Intelligentsia Coffee's origin story reads like this. The story begins in 1995. Doug Zell and Emily Manch just wanted fresh roasted coffee. It was really that simple. After moving from San Francisco to Chicago, they found that great tasting coffee in their new city was surprisingly elusive. But instead of complaining, or even worse, settling for bad coffee, they hunkered down and wrote the original business plan, or what would become Intelligentsia Coffee. Let's look at some of the elements of this origin story. First, the founders, Doug and Emily, are named, so immediately we have a connection to real people. Second, Doug and Emily encountered a problem. They couldn't find a good coffee in Chicago. Third, they went about solving the problem. Instead of settling, they created Intelligentsia to solve the problem they had. You may say that that's great and it's cool to hear about their story, but how does it help create a brand? Because storytelling has the ability to create connections in a way simple facts can't. If a business can get storytelling right, they have a huge advantage over their competition, because we as humans are wired for stories. We love hearing stories. We love telling stories. We use stories for entertainment or for teaching, and we become emotionally attached to stories. In fact, studies show that more areas of our brain light up when we're hearing a story than when we're just hearing information, and that when we hear stories, our brains release certain chemicals responsible for empathy and connection. By telling a story, you not only have signs on your side to create a connection with your customer, but your customer may see themselves in your story. There's a powerful "I've been there too" element that the origin story can present. That connection can be solidified by having real people associated with the business instead of a mysterious "we", or worse yet, an impersonal "the company". By telling a story, a customer comes along with you for the journey. Now let's create an origin story for our business Kala and Ivy, a flower business that specializes in handcrafted bouquets, founded by Imra. Imagine she's hired you to define her brand and create content for her website and social media presence. Starting with the first piece of our framework, existence, let's put together an origin story. We want to focus on 3 things: who launched the business and when, what problem was trying to be solved, and how did the business solve it. After talking with Imra and finding out a bit about her history and why she created the business, we come up with this. Imra always loved flowers, and as a child would pick them on hikes with her parents and braid them into crowns. But after graduating art school with a degree in design, she was disappointed to see the same bland kind of bouquets being made without any kind of artistic passion or unique design to them. So in 2010, Imra began her own flower shop called Kala and Ivy in order to offer the unique, handcrafted, design-forward bouquets she knew could bring joy and inspiration to people around her. After a short time, Imra's shop became so popular that she expanded her presence online, where customers can order her bouquets digitally and also subscribe for regular flower deliveries. And while her store still exists, Imra uses it to experiment with new ideas. The majority of her sales come from her website. And what is Kala and Ivy? The name is a pairing of her favorite flower, the Kala lily, and the ivy she loved to braid as a kid. Now that you know the importance of an origin story, You'll start noticing them more and more on websites, in advertising, and on social media. Think about which ones resonate with you most and ask yourself why. The origin story is a way for brands to connect with customers, and it is the core of the first foundational element of our EPIC brand framework, existence. In our next video, we will look at the purpose, or why businesses do what they do.